So this is scene 9. I'm just going to say volumetric material very briefly because you've probably heard enough about that. And this is one not made by me but by Dan Whiteside, and that is shared with us, and it's quite a straightforward material that just creates a volume of light capturing cloud that isn't very dense, that are used to create these shadows from these rocks. Behind that we've got a nebula effect, and we've also got a corona in there and a light source. It's fairly straightforward, this scene. We've got a lot of rocks, so these stones here are what I've used, but I thought, because these are the standard Bryce stones, they're not quite high enough resolution. You can see there's some nasty angular shadows on them to really work. So we'll have a go of selecting all these. I'll copy the material while I'm here, because I can make use of that again. So just copy that to the library, right, and then delete those and bring in one from this set. So let's bring in one of these asteroids. That's memory usage, that's 43, that's 40, so that's fairly high memory usage. I won't put one of these in because they're getting really hefty on the memory usage. That one's only 5, but what I thought I could try, I'll bring in both these, is to use them in a random replicate using instancing. A bit of a risky thing for me to do. I've not had very much success with instancing, but here we go. We've got asteroid 1 there. Where's the other asteroid? I thought I brought 2 in. Oh, I can't select 2 like that. I have to bring them in one at a time, don't I? What am I thinking? So that's asteroid 1, so I'll bring asteroid 2 in as well. So there we go. So there's my 2 asteroids. Select them together and then do edit random replicate. We'll create 50, instance them, and go OK. So hopefully I'll have got a distribution of asteroids 1s and asteroid 2 instances. The being instances should mean that they have a small memory footprint. So with all those selected, what I'm now going to do is select this option to 3D disperse, rotate and size, and then 3D disperse, rotate and size them. And then I'll have to remove the ones that are too close to the camera that are obscuring the view. So that's they're not named. Let's see if we've got anywhere with this. Let's get rid of that one. That's a bit big. That's probably a bit big. There must be some smaller ones around somewhere. We'll get down to them eventually. Yeah, okay. So there's quite a lot of large ones too close to the camera. So if I select, I wonder if I select all instances. Well, that's the default family, but I don't want to select the nebula, and I don't want to select that corona, and I don't want to select that sphere. So if I now have what I've got selected, I give it a different family grouping. Let's say this one. Then I should be able to reduce those without affecting anything else, and see if we can get back to a stage where we've got them at a sort of sensible size. Right, I could do with distributing them again, but without doing the size thing. So we can just do disperse and rotate and do that. And so these should now be a higher resolution mesh, but they're not. It's not the same as a huge memory footprint as if we'd introduced lots of separate individual models or just copied and pasted them. There's only the original ones in there somewhere which provide the pattern for these ones. So they've adopted their own material. I don't know whether I want to put the material on, let's say, from the others, which was a bit bumpier. I think it was just with the bump turned up because the other ones didn't have the crinkly surfaces that these have. I'm just having a look at the material, just using the plot render to quickly give that a render. So that's a fairly straightforward process of using instancing. And now if I give this a render and save the file, the size of the file should not be huge. It should only be whatever they were. What was it, about 40 or 50 megabytes each for those meshes. So it should have gained about 100 megabytes, and we'll have saved whatever the cost of having the basic Bryce stones, which won't have been very high because they're not complex shapes. So I'll just let this render out and save the file, and then we'll just check on the size of the file and see whether the instancing is doing the job of saving us a bit of memory in the source file. Okay, right, just pausing the video. So that's rendered out. We'll just save this. Hopefully the rocks are looking a bit better now. So we'll do save as and carefully change the file name so I don't overwrite an existing file name. And we're saving in here somewhere. So this is our original file, and that was 2.71 megabytes, and this one's weighed in at 21.6 megabytes. So that's not too bad really, considering the size of the source files and the resolution of these rocks. And even just using two and instancing them, I think you can, it's difficult to see that they're the same rock. So if you compare that with the original image, these looked a bit angular. You can see they've got rather sharp edges and a low resolution, and here's the upgraded asteroids. So that was a fairly straightforward project there. So I hope you find that useful and interesting, and that you'll have a go using instancing. It's not something I've used very much. It's an interesting feature, but it tends to break whenever I lay my hands on it, so I've been lucky this time. Cheers now.